welcome to another episode of Chai and Cabins. Took a little bit of break with the holidays and in the Airbnb world. Things get crazy around the holidays, as everybody knows, but we're back and I'm super excited to introduce a new co-host, Jen, who is here with us today. And Jen and I are in a mastermind together. That's how we first met. And I actually get this question a whole bunch. If you guys don't know what a mastermind is, either put in the comments below, I'll be happy to answer, or send me a DM, or you can just literally Google. But people ask me all the time, like, what is a mastermind? And it really is just a group of people who like hang out and we share ideas, we learn from each other, and we grow kind of with each other. So, Jen, welcome to the podcast. What did you think of your first podcast recording today?
Hey Rashmi, thanks for having me. It was really fun. I enjoyed getting to talk with Ryan and you, and I'm looking forward to more episodes with our new guests that we're going to have on. Just to say hi to everybody, I'm Jen LeViseur, and my husband and I are STR investors and also managers. We live in Northwest Arkansas, but we also have properties in San Antonio and Dallas, Texas. So I spend my days helping him manage the business and also chasing after my three little boys who I homeschool. But yeah, just excited to be here. And if anybody's looking for real estate in Arkansas, my husband is a realtor. His name is Ryan. And feel free to, you can drop a comment down if you're interested in this market, or feel free to check us out on Instagram at Stay Sojora, Sojora.
And I will add this, guys. I actually bought a cabin right before I knew Jen in Arkansas without knowing that like Ryan was a realtor. Anyways, I bought it and I had like a complete panic freak out moment. And Jen has been like guiding me through the entire process. She like found me contractors, designers, like literally anything I needed. I was like, Jen, what do I do? So she is awesome, guys. You guys should just connect. And her husband is awesome as well, but he's not as awesome as Jen. So
That's right.
we just got done recording what I thought was an incredible episode with Ryan.
It was. Yeah, I really felt like it was just a lot about relationships and how important relationships really are in building that business.
Yep. And Ryan basically took a leap from a high paying W-2 and basically went cold turkey into real estate. Like he was like, I'm just gonna do this. And he started with new development, which is crazy. And we'll actually get like all the details about new development, which I've always been curious about. And then he grew his portfolio and he started doing fix and flips for short-term rental investors. And get this, guys, he actually lives 3 to 4 hours away from his flips. So he kind of manages them remotely.
Yep. So it's all about relationships and team, really having that perfect team in place that you feel comfortable with and can trust. And once you have that, you can really just expand and grow.
100%. And you brought up this amazing point, and I'm not gonna like tell you what that is. You guys should listen to the episode, but she actually gives you a really great tip about cleaners, how to manage them, how to grow with them. So make sure you guys listen to that. Anything else? It's been a really fun week. I'm like having so much fun.
Yeah. No, I think that's it. I mean, we're getting ready to go to Nashville next week for the STR Wealth Conference, which we're so excited about. So it'll be great.
And we'll do a special episode next week about the STR Wealth Con and all the fun things that we did there, everything we learned, like a big recap kind of episode. Aya, thank you so much for coming on. I'm so excited to have you here.
Of course, thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, so I always like to start off with tell us what your portfolio looks like right now, and then maybe a little bit of backstory, how you got started in real estate and how you kind of built your portfolio.
Yeah, so right now I currently own 12 short-term rentals. We manage another 4 or 5 with our property management company. I got into real estate investing about 5 or 6 years ago. And prior to that, I was a medical device sales rep for another 5 or 6 years. So started that, finally got fed up with the corporate grind and the politics involved, and decided to jump out cold turkey and start single family development up in New Jersey, where I'm from. And that was quite the experience going through that, and having no experience with building, real estate investing, renovations, any of that. And I thought it would be a smart idea to start with new construction. And um, it was quite the experience, to say the least. Had some interesting interactions and relationships with contractors up there, and some of which tried to take advantage of me and my partners at that time.
No,
Um,
Doctors start to take advantage of you guys? What?
Yeah, right? It's such an anomaly these days. But there are good ones out there. And I found some good ones out there, so we can't get them all in. But you started there, so I don't know how far you want to go back or what got me to that point and whatnot, but that's kind of where my portfolio is. And then from there, once I started that single family construction, I did a couple more in New Jersey. And at that time, I was got my real estate license, full-time realtor for a period of time, and then I transitioned over to the mortgage originating side for about 2 years as well. So I had some experiences in different realms of the real estate world, which I think gave me some insight to a lot of the different aspects of it, with financing, with acquiring deals, what goes into negotiations, all that good stuff. So the past 2 years, or I'd say 2.5, I've been focusing on short-term rentals, started investing in the Smoky Mountains at the end of 2021. I got my first one there. And then the next year, I scaled to 11 short-term rentals between Smoky Mountains, Northwest Arkansas, Myrtle Beach, and Nashville. And now we're looking to scale into the hotel space, as you know, Rashmi, and kind of take it from there and scale it.
Wait, Ryan, you're in my neck of the woods because I'm in Bentonville. Where are
Yes.
your yeah, wait, where is your stuff here?
So I'm in Jasper.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So it's beautiful out there. I did not know anything about Northwest Arkansas or Arkansas in general up until um, a year and a half ago, and I learned a tremendous amount. I think there's a lot of opportunity in that state. I think it's kind of under the radar in a lot of ways, and our experience has been good. So if there's any other opportunities or things worthwhile in regards to investing, and we definitely want to try to expand that as well.
Cool. Yeah, we love it here. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, we're right near the Little Buffalo River, so it's I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah, it's real
We can
pretty.
make a trip out there.
What's
We're
that?
all, I said we need to make a trip out there. We're all Arkansas investors over here.
That's right. That's right. We need to. We need to they're just having like strategic meetings in all these different places and say it's for business, but
Right.
Take this back a little bit because you talked about being kind of in this medical sales role, working the corporate job, probably making really good money from what I'm assuming. How in the world do you just go cold turkey into real estate and like give up basically like the steady source of income? This is a jump so many people are like, I want to do this, like I want to invest in real estate, I want to do this, but like it's hard to like give up everything to do the unknown. So what was going through your mind?
yeah, 100%. I mean, just to go back a little bit more, I graduated college up in New Jersey in '09 when the world was imploding. And I came out of college as a young, 22-year-old, not having any idea what I wanted to do. I was like, I want to make money. I want to kind of figure this out and make my name in the world, but I had no idea what I wanted to do or what I was doing. And at that time, hindsight's always 2020, but I think I was chasing the wrong things, and wrong things by chasing money and prestige in the sense of being able to show off my career, how much money I was making, and things like that. And got to a point, and all I knew at that time, I grew up in a family where everyone was like, take the safe route, go to college, you get out of college, you get the job, you work your way up the corporate ladder. So that's all I knew. There weren't many entrepreneurs in my family besides my grandfather, who came from Sicily and started a pizzeria. And even then, they were pushing me to go the college route because I guess they understood how hard it was. And entrepreneurship is not easy by any means. So that's all I knew. And I was like, okay, I'm just gonna get out, figure it out, and I'll hopefully get a job, work my way up the corporate ladder, maybe be a regional manager someday. And I ended up in medical device sales and worked my way up. I specifically sold orthopedic implants, soft tissue. So I was in the OR 12 hours a day from 5 a.m. to 6 p.m. every night, um, basically showing surgeons or helping surgeons in the OR how to use my products and help their patients out. In the beginning, it was super fulfilling. I loved it. I was like basically a glorified med student. I was coming home every night on YouTube watching orthopedic surgeries, understanding anatomy, everything. And it was super cool and rewarding financially as well. And then you get through it and you understand, these are Fortune 500 corporations and they ultimately care about the shareholders. And they started cutting our commissions and changes were being made. And I'm thinking to myself, God, like, am I gonna live the rest of my life like this? Like, do I want my future, my paycheck, my title, all of that dictated by somebody else? And I was just like, enough's enough. I was single at the time. I said, I could figure this out. If I don't, I could always go back to it. I could always get another sales job. But if I'm going to take a chance, now's the time. In hindsight, did I jump into new construction development with no experience? Probably not. So I would advise anyone not to do that. But I learned a tremendous amount. God willing, at that time, the market was on the up. So we were riding the appreciation wave back in 2018, whatever, 2019. And yeah, just kept going from there and just learning more, surrounding myself with good people. And then, especially the past couple of years, really understanding what I don't know and getting around the people that are where I wanted to be. And as Rashmi, as you know, like surrounding ourselves with people from the mastermind and different walks of life that have done it, and really letting go of a lot of the pride and ego of telling myself, I'll figure it out. I'll go through the motions. And that's why I think I've been able to have um, exponential growth in regards to my portfolio and where I want to take this is from the network and being able to absorb and learn from the people that are where I want to be. So really excited about the future, where I'm going to take it. But that first step of jumping out was so scary because you you have no one that understands in your circle, your friends, your family. Everyone's like, you're a madman. Like, what are you doing? You're giving up a great living to jump into real estate, which you know nothing about, and it could go up, it could go down. So it's a lonely place too. You don't have many people in your corner. So as an entrepreneur, it's like until you have the proof of concept, you have the results, you have the receipts, as they say. It's hard for people to really believe in you or understand where you're going because unless it's like people like us or masterminds or you really going out of your comfort zone to surround yourself with people like that, it could be a very lonely place. So I wish I did what I was doing the past 2 years a lot sooner.
I love it. How did you pick new constructions out of like all things? Most people would go buy a duplex or
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. I wanted to go big early, which again, it's a double-edged sword. But for Jersey, at least in central northern New Jersey, I grew up 9 miles outside of Manhattan. It's a very competitive market. You have a lot of people from Manhattan that come out with their families, that come out to the burbs. That there's a lot of train lines that run from New Jersey to New York. So as long as they're near the train lines, they can get into the city within 30 to 45 minutes, most places even sooner. So I was like, there were certain markets that I would say were along the trend line, more luxury, high scale. And I said to myself, let's get in here. I know the margins are better on the new construction from everything what I knew at the time. And for fix and flips, the return I was looking for, it just wasn't there. What I have to purchase these places. And a lot of times you're competing with the owner occupied, the younger couples that are willing to pay a little bit more to get in versus an investor like myself that's trying to make a profit here. So especially with taxes where they are as well in New Jersey, the highest property or one of the highest property taxes in the country. If you don't have good margin and you'll say your new construction, your flip, whatever it is, goes longer than it should be, your holding costs are eating up your profit very quick.
That's so true. And I think one thing you mentioned on just in your previous talk was, how lonely entrepreneurship can be is something like I go through like in lots of waves. Like there's no one that understands what I'm going through. And what I'm going through isn't that drastic. I just feel that way, right? So I've been on Twitter and like you actually connect me with a whole bunch of people on Twitter. And I don't know if most people know this, but Ryan actually taught me a bunch about like how to use Twitter because I had like no idea like what I was doing.
I still have no idea. I just know the people that I follow, and I'm like, they give some good nuggets. So I'm just I'm putting my finger in that direction. So don't give me that much credit.
No, I think that's how we learn, right? Like I
Yeah.
was talking to Jen, my confidant, she actually helped me with my Eureka Springs cabin that we're starting the rehab on. But you just have to tell people like I'm struggling, can you help me? And you'll be shocked by how many people are genuinely willing to come help with like they don't expect anything in return. Like they
Oh,
just
absolutely. Yeah, I mean that was one of the biggest hurdles for me was letting go of my ego in regards to like just asking for help and wanting to be a sponge and just absorbing as much as I could absorb. It was pride and ego saying, you know what, you'll figure this out, and not surrounding myself with the people I need to surround myself, because where I could have been 5 or 6 years ago, it could have been. I mean, God, hindsight's 2020 in the sense of like, I wish we all got into real estate at 18 years old, 16 years old, right? 22 years old. But you know, we're young, we're dumb, and we chase
my
stupid.
my worst mistake was not buying real estate in 2008 when I was in high school.
Oh my God, I remember that too. I was like, I wish I had money to, and I'm like, oh, I gotta work another 10 years before I'm gonna be able to get like a 2 or 3 family or this or that. It's interesting too, once you surround yourself with the people you want to be surrounded with, how your mindset changes too. I know, Rashmi, that we really dig into this and everything we're doing with Dave Conway and understanding like subconscious, our thoughts, who we're interacting with, who we're surrounding ourselves with, what we're consuming, all that stuff. It's so important. I've really tried to tune into that as well.
Can I ask you a little bit of a personal question? Did you raise money for this new development? Were you just putting in your own personal money? Like, how did the money come about for new development?
Yeah, yeah, both. So basically, everything I saved my first development went into that. And I got money from family members for the consecutive ones. And then for me to grow my portfolio the past couple of years, I've also raised some money and had a select group of partners that would come on with me with these bigger deals. And then I have a fix and flip business in Eastern Tennessee, as you know, too, and have an investor that comes in and it's kind of like a private lender in that sense, which has been able has afforded me the opportunity to scale pretty quickly there too.
That's
That
great. How did you find someone like that, or how did you build that relationship?
Yeah, so a lot of these people, the people specifically I'm talking about are either close family friends, so it's almost like an uncle to me, and some other family members, and then other people that I've worked with in the past. And it's interesting because at the time I was looking back on this, I was like, my time as a realtor in New Jersey when I just started developing. And I'm like, I look back at that initially and I'm like, I should have just jumped full on into real estate investing, not even spent my time as an agent, blah, 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 blah. And then I realized, like, after thinking about it in my journey, one of my partners, or two of my partners in some of my deals are agents that I used to work with back in New Jersey because I didn't have the proof of concept then, but they knew who I was, they knew what I was about, they knew I had character, values, and they knew where I wanted to take it, and they trusted me essentially, right? So those were some of my first partners, and it worked out. So it's like these things that we go through or we experience, where we look at them as like, oh, that was like probably experience I didn't need, or I wish I didn't have to go through that. But if you really look back and you analyze it and kind of give it a lot of thought, it the opportunities that arose or what it taught you, there's lessons in everything. There's a silver lining in everything.
That's so true. It's so true. Like if you just like your network, you never know who is willing to come to your, to come help you, or they just don't know what you're doing. You just have to tell people. Like I was talking to someone the other day and they were when they first got into real estate investing, one of their first investors was like their their wife's grandmother or something. And the other one was like an old high school um peer. And they're like, that's so random. But
And then sometimes like I need to be better at this. I know posting on social media and stuff. Like you don't know who's watching, and then you post something or something really resonates with someone, and they reach out to you, a conversation's had, and it could blossom into a business relationship or you helping them out get into real estate or whatever it is. There's so many ways to connect and interact, and that's something I definitely need to improve on in regards to the social media.
yeah. So cool. I was looking at your responses to the questions, and I would love to learn more about what your like specific unique selling point is for the business you're doing, because it sounds like you're not just managing these properties for other people, you're also maybe are you finding these properties and then furnishing them and then turning around and selling them?
Yeah, so initially I was doing I guess what you could call wholesaling in regards to like marketing to direct to seller marketing the houses that are off market. and has some success in that. But initially, I wanted to buy these at a discount and then fix them up and then rent them out or refinance or something like that. And then I understood, at least in Eastern Tennessee, how hot the market got there. And I was like, okay, maybe kind of switching over to the fix and flip model where we're going in, doing the renovations, and then flipping them for a profit. The ROI was just so much better in that aspect. But now what I'm doing, I used to try and do that, not even furnish them, and then try and sell them quickly. Now what we're going is we're basically doing the renovation, furnishing the place, getting all the kitchen utensils, everything the house would need to run as a short-term rental where a retail investor can come in day one and start renting it out. So now I think it shows better in regards to getting a higher purchase price for your property. But two, if we don't get the purchase price we want, or we decide, hey, maybe we want to hold on to it, we could refinance, hold on to it, and then start renting it out as a short-term rental. So I like the model that we've kind of not created, but that we've switched over to because now it gives us multiple exit strategies, depending on where the market is.
Yeah, that's cool. I
I
like that.
love that. Let's do my fun part. Let's talk numbers. I love talking numbers.
Yeah.
Tell me like what does a deal like this look like? What purchase price do you buy at? How much does rehab cost? And then my second part to that question is, I know you don't live in the same state you rehab in, so how in the world do you manage a rehab from far away? Because that is something, as everyone knows, I like have freak out about, and I know it's something ton of investors struggle with.
Yeah, I think it's kind of a misconception for investors, like being out of state or out of the market or far away, that it's harder. I will tell you this, once I found the right team in the Smokies, and I live in Greenville, South Carolina now, so I'm 3 hours away. Um, it's been so much easier for me being 3 hours away versus being 12 hours away in New Jersey trying to do, or even when I was living in New Jersey and doing the new developments up there, I was less than 30 minutes away from my properties, and I was having the biggest headache in the world because I didn't have the right team around me. So I think if you have the right team, you have the right systems, people in place, you can do it from wherever you are. It's definitely feasible. So for me, it was finding the right team, building out the right team, which I feel we have now, and then making sure everyone knows their roles, responsibilities, timelines, protocols, all that. So it's been, once again, finding a good team, and the contractor piece is so important. My girlfriend as well, she helps me design, furnish, project manage my flips. She's got the integrator operational mind. I am not good at that stuff whatsoever. I am more of the visionary, big picture type guy. I wish I was better at that stuff, but she's been a godsend in regards to and me really having the awareness to understand what I'm good at and what I'm not good at, and not trying to play every role and do every task in my business. Because if I want to scale and I want to keep building this, you have to delegate, right? And you have to build out a team around you that they can flourish in the specific role that you need for that business. So now we're at a point where we have the people and the pieces in place and the systems where it's really just a deal flow, finding the right deals and then making sure they work. For example, my last deal, we found off market. It was cold calling. We got off market. It was a 3 bedroom in Smoky Mountains. It had an indoor pool. It was an inheritance. The people just wanted to get rid of it. We ended up buying it for 550. We put about 100K into the renovation, probably more because we ended up recently putting in a new hot water heater, so a little over 100K. We did about 20 to 25K in furnishings, and that one just appraised. We're going to refinance that one and probably put it back on the market, but it just appraised for 1.2. So we'll be able to refinance and cash out.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that was a good one. That was a good one.
How in the world did you find a property for 500 in with a pool in the Smokies? Like I'm in
Yeah.
that field, like that doesn't exist.
I definitely wouldn't say it's the norm, right? But it's really, it's like the world aligning in certain ways where we find or we contact a potential seller who's in a pinch, or I know this specific seller, I believe a family member had a medical issue. She's like, listen, we need this cash. We have to sell ASAP. We said, listen, we can close in a couple of weeks. We get this done. We'll take care of the closing costs, whatnot, and really kind of one understanding what was important to the seller, us providing solutions and being able to move quickly is essentially what got us the deal for that low.
Any tips for people who want to cold call? It is not something I excel at. I'm very clear about that, but I know there's lots of people that are interested. They're like, I want to like any tips about wholesaling or cold calling?
Yeah, it's tough. It's a tough thing to do, especially when people are telling you to screw off, multiple times a day. And in the beginning, I was doing it and I absolutely hated it. And maybe it was when I was a little more prideful and I was hurt by strangers' comments towards me. But it's tough. You have to have thick skin. And at the end of the day, you need to understand it's not personal. If you have someone that's cursing you out and saying all these things, I used to get upset. And then once I maybe matured in certain ways, I'm like, God, what is going on in that person's life where they're that upset and angry, where they have to tell a complete stranger all like to F off, get out of here, you're this, you're that. I'm like, something has to be going on in their life. So it's really not going from a place of anger to empathy and sympathy in a way, because maybe these people are just going through a rough time and they don't know how to express their feelings like, a lot of us, and it just comes out in really ugly ways. So it's tough, but you got not taking it personal and understanding everyone's human. You don't know what that person's going through that day. Maybe they just got in a car accident. Maybe they just lost a loved one. You don't know. But having a sense of empathy and not taking it personal, those two things alone have done wonders for me.
Yeah. Are you still cold calling yourself, or do you have like a team of people who are doing it for you now?
Yeah, no, I had a partner who was doing a majority of the cold calling. At one point, we were doing texting as well. We did direct mailers. We saw the best ROI on the cold calling. Unfortunately, me and that partner aren't really doing it anymore. That's sort of the business because I want to get really specialized. So I really want to focus on the fix and flips, and I want to focus on acquiring a hotel in 2024. So I've also realized the past couple of years going wide and doing everything is really stunting my growth in certain areas. So now I'm trying to get narrow and focused, and just surround myself with realtors, wholesalers that are doing it in the day to day, building those relationships. So if they have deals, I'm one of the first people that comes to mind.
Nice. Do you have any places you're keeping your eye on for a hotel in 2024, or are you open to kind of anywhere?
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to get pretty narrow, like trying to have that focus right in regards to where I'm looking. So I like Eastern Tennessee a lot. I like Western North Carolina. Myrtle Beach has been great for us in regards to our SDR. So if the right opportunity came across there, I would definitely look at it. And then I'm really liking Greenville. Since moving here and really understanding the market here, I think this market has a tremendous amount of growth ahead of it. And it's kind of not getting the attention that I think a lot of these bigger markets or metros are getting, like Charlotte and Houston and Atlanta. But I think Greenville is one people, I don't want to say are sleeping on, but it hasn't gotten the national attention that I think it will be soon.
Yeah, that's cool.
What are some tips or something you can share with somebody like me who's trying to rehab a property from far away? I'm stressed out. When a contractor sends me something, I don't know if I'm supposed to pay 50% up front. I don't know if I'm supposed to wait. Like, any tips for like beginner rehab far away?
Yeah, 100%. I think the first thing is vetting the contractors as best you can. I'll tell you this much. I don't think I'd get, especially if I was doing new construction with a builder, that's a 6 minimum, 8, 12 month, usually a longer investment in time and energy and money with this person. I would do a background check. I would go as far as that and understanding like, do these guys have judgments against them, things like that. I would also get referrals from them. I'd inspect their work if you can, if you're in the area, or at least have someone that can get over there to inspect their work. I think is important. Then from there, getting multiple bids, I think is important because especially if they know you're an out-of-stater or an investor, they could come in higher, they could assume you don't know what you're doing and things like that. So I definitely get multiple bids. I would break it down with having labor and materials separate. I think that's a big one because a lot of these contractors are putting an upcharge on materials. and understanding, their hourly rate and things like that. And some contractors will give that to you, some won't. And then having some sort of incentive where if they get, let's say they give you timeline, we're going to get it done in 6 months. If they get it done before that, give them an extra bump in incentive, give them a bonus. Then if it goes after that, they have kind of a period, maybe a couple of weeks to get it all done, grace period, I guess you could call it. And then after that, then they get penalized. So there's incentive for them to get this done quicker than actually run past the time that you guys set out in the beginning.
That's awesome. Is that how you work with your current contractor? Like, do you guys have this written up? Like, did a lawyer write this contract up, or how does that work?
Yeah, so we had an attorney write up our initial contract. Again, going through the experience I did in the beginning and having only certain things in writing and not be very detailed. I definitely, when you get burned once, you hopefully learn from that lesson and then you take the proper precautions again in the future. So I learned from me getting burned, and yeah, the contracts are all dialed in, just being transparent and open as possible, asking all the right questions, making sure you guys are on the same page in regards to, what do these line items, are we talking about the same finishes? Are you thinking high-end finishes when we really need the mediocre finishes? Just making sure you guys are comparing apples to apples, especially amongst all the contractors when you're bidding it out. I think is super important.
How many contractors do you talk to? Like, are you talking to like 3 contractors and getting a bid, or are you talking to 25 and then trying to get a bid? Like, what's
I would narrow it down to probably like 3 or 4 if you're just starting off. Now, we have a great relationship with one of our builders in the Smokies. We get his bid and then we usually get another bid from someone else. Now we're like to keep everyone honest and make sure we're on the same page. But he's been great. He's been super transparent. We pay for all materials. He's fine with that. And he just he takes a long-term relationship and outlook when he's talking about the trajectory where she wants to go. And that's super important too, that a lot of people don't talk about. Like what your contractor, your builder that you're working with, what's their business plan? What do they want to accomplish in their professional career? And does that align with yours? Because if it aligns with yours, you guys can do tremendous things together. Or if you have a guy that's just on the tail end and wants to get out in a couple of years and he's very transactional and he's doing jobs here and there and doesn't have a lot of repeat business, that might worry me a little bit too, because he's not invested in me. He's not invested in my career or trying to grow with me. So yeah, asking those questions and understanding, because I've learned a lot of contractors, great builders, but they don't really understand the business side or the real estate investment side. So sometimes educating them on that or kind of saying, hey, I need these numbers here, what's important to me. And you communicate that, then they understand, okay, this is what I need to do here, where it works for all parties.
wow, that's freaking awesome.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, we have the same, like we've I feel like we've done that too with cleaners in our area, right? Like we're growing and then we're looking for a partner who's also wanting to grow, and do more jobs and things. And I feel like a lot of times we haven't found that perfect match yet where they also want to grow like we do. So I love that you mentioned that because I think that's something people overlook.
Yeah, it's the same thing. You have contractors, cleaners, I mean, it's different, but it's similar in the sense of like, if people understand the long-term vision and you communicate to them where you want to take this business and people understand that, there's going to be some people that step up to the plate and go, okay, like I could grow with this person, and maybe they grow into like a managerial role and then they're managing other cleaners and then maybe they're director of your operations. Like those are the people I like to work with because they understand the bigger picture. Where I want to take it, they can grow with us, or grow with all of us, right? So I like people because in sales, in real estate, I've seen it where there's a lot of people that are transactional, and it's like, how do I get this commission? Especially on the realtor side, you have realtors that they don't understand investment the way I feel they should if they're navigating or working with investors, and they're just pushing them into deals that aren't going to work. And if you're a new investor and you're trusting this person and they're pushing into it, that's that could be someone's life savings that they're putting into a vacation rental, right? And I just feel like they should have a fiduciary responsibility to do right by other clients, but they're more concerned about a commission check. But they don't think, okay, I push them into this deal, it goes bad, and then I lose a client for the rest of my life. And that client might have bought 15 properties over the next 20 years. So I just, it boggles my mind that more people in sales and in real estate in general, they don't think, which it's just hard.
That's so true. So going back just a little bit, how did you learn to rehab a property? Like, you've talked about new development. Like, were you watching YouTube and learning how to frame a house? Or like, were you in a mastermind? Like, how did you learn this stuff?
Yeah, I mean, in the beginning, I was on Bigger Pockets all day, every day. I was watching YouTube videos, um, and then going through the school of hard knocks or jumping in for better or for worse, especially in the beginning, and understanding, the cost of things and understanding what materials cost, usually what labor is. And then you work with different contractors and you understand how they work or how they're paying their guys, and you just get a sense of it. New construction is, I don't want to say vastly different, but it's different than going in and just putting paint on the walls and refinishing floors and things like that. You got to get engineers, you got to get architects. You're dealing with foundation. It's a bigger deal. And making sure you have the right people in place too, for that as well. But yeah, learning and then getting into it. That was really just me jumping in cold turkey and then understanding and running the numbers. Okay, these are my labor costs or what we expect and for how long we're going to be working. And then here are the material costs for everything we're trying to do. And then depending on where you're at, the market, lumber a couple of years ago shot up tremendously. So you'd like to have some sort of buffer there in case these, commodities, the prices of those change. The market could change as well. So you want to kind of factor that into your underwriting. So you just try and understand the upside, but mitigating your downside as best you can.
Yeah, I remember when that lumber price went up, like it was right at the start of 21. I had a construction project go. It didn't go south. We never started it, but like we canceled the whole thing.
Yeah, lumber, concrete, copper. I mean, there was all of them jumped tremendously, and it eats into your profits. It just, especially if you're framing, a 4,000 square foot house. That's a decent amount cutting in.
How did you go from, because most fix and flippers, right? That's all they keep doing, right? And it's at some point it's almost like having a job, right? Like you need your next flip to make money. But you went a different route and you said, I'm actually going to manage these and hold on to some of these because I want that income to keep coming in every single month. What got you to make that jump?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it was I tried to really reverse engineer my life and say, okay, this is where I want to be and what's important to me and how do I get there. And it came down to two things for me in real estate. It was cash flow and it was generational wealth. So what transitioned for me was if I could jump out of the mortgage business a couple of years ago, focus on the fix and flips for my active income and just utilize that active income to invest in these short-term rentals and or these hotels and generate the passive income for me. And then as those appreciate, you build generational wealth, right? So for me, it's just I wanted that nest egg from the sense of whatever happened to me, my health, a job, whatever it is, if I can't work, my properties are working for me and my family. I have income coming in. Because you see all these people with these W-2 jobs, the corporate, like they think, and I've seen it in my own life with people I love, they work for a company for 20 years, they're making a great salary, and then new CEO comes in, fired, gone, and there's no income. So you'd hope you set yourself up where you're making the right investments up until then. Some people aren't. Some people are living paycheck to paycheck. I mean, I don't know what the average credit card debt for the per person in this country is, but I know it's a lot, and a lot of people are living paycheck to paycheck. So if whether it's downsizing your lifestyle or whatnot, taking some of that money and investing into real estate, whether it's passively or you're actively involved, you have a hard asset that can appreciate over time, that can generate you a yield cash flow. It just checked every boxes. Then you add on the tax benefits to it. It just checked every box for me in regards to where I want to take my life, the freedom I want, the lifestyle.
I got goosebumps. That was so good.
Wow,
Yeah,
really?
Oh, good. I still remember the day I wrote the first property I bought, the down payment, it was 10% down, it's 300K property, and I put, signed a check for 30 grand, and I was like, I'm never gonna make this money back. Like I just had a moment where I just like froze, like at title. And I was like, what am I doing with my life? And I
It's
was
so
like, yeah, I was like, I hope I make, and like I've made it back tenfold at this point. But like just in that moment, I just like froze.
it's so tough, especially your first one, and like you don't have any experience in real estate, and all you know is to work for your money, trading your time for money and getting an income, a paycheck, right? And then you're saying you're taking all that money that you work so hard for to put it into an investment where you don't know if you're going to generate a return or not. It's one of the scariest things in the world. But if you're doing it with the right people and you're obviously you need to take calculated risks. You don't want to be dumb. You don't want to get over leverage or anything like that, or get into dumb investments. But it's the people that can take those calculated risks versus the ones that can that I think are going to have the wealth and success um, that they want.
I freaking love that. It's my first deal.
Crazy. It's yeah, my God.
You have any long-term rentals, Ryan? Or are you just in the short term?
I had a three-family home in New Jersey I was holding on to, and I finally let go of that one this past year. So I'm fully on board with the short-term rental train. Now, I'm actually liquidating half of my portfolio to go bigger into these hotels. So, built up some equity in some of them, and now it's just a matter of cashing out and going bigger. Because I just see the scalability of the hotels, and especially in certain markets with regulation really cracking down, especially in the major metros. With the hotels, you really don't have to worry about that because they have the commercial designation, right? So, I think it's going to make the most sense in a lot of ways. And if I could kind of take that fix and flip attitude or business model into hotels, it's also a great way to build in a significant amount of equity. I mean, forcing value into single family is one thing, and then when you're doing that to a 50-unit hotel, that can increase the value tremendously. So that just goes back to the whole generational wealth and building appreciation and cash flow helping with that as well.
Yeah.
Did you 1031 exchange that?
If I can plan everything out accordingly, I would like to do a 1031. When I purchase a hotel this year, with the ones I anticipate to sell, I definitely want to do a cost seg. And then doing that cost seg, well, depending on the size of the hotel, would offset a lot of the capital gains taxes. Again, I'm not an accountant by any means, and the IRS do not come after me. I'm doing everything by the book. But yeah, hopefully everything works out in my accountant that we could offset the majority of those kind of the ones up.
Are you doing anything in terms of like wholesaling or cold calling for these hotels? Like on the bigger deals, are you like going by this model, or are you going more like, are you on LoopNet finding a deal?
That's a great question. So right now, I'm making a conscious effort to expand my network in regards to realtors and wholesalers in these specific markets. I actually have a friend that I connected with a couple of years ago. He's actually a business partner on a Myrtle Beach deal, and he just started focusing on wholesaling. So I'm actually going to have a conversation with him. If I could generate the list for you, skip trace them and find these owners of these hotels in these markets. Would you cold call them and then bring them in either a small equity partner or give them a finder's fee or something like that, where it would benefit both of us? I think that's a good way to acquire in the sense of like, I don't want to be on the phones. I don't want to be doing that every day. I've been through that. And now it's just a matter of getting the people in place that I can just expand my network that I have relationships with and I know would do right by me that could find these deals. And again, either come in as a small equity partner, want to bring money, find the deal, find a trade, whatever way it makes sense for everyone and everyone's happy and everyone can win. I'm all about that. So
I love it. So you have properties in the Smokies, Myrtle Beach, anywhere else?
Smokies, Myrtle Beach, Northwest Arkansas, near Jen, and Nashville.
Oh, Nashville. Okay, so favorite market, which properties like in terms of STR, where are you seeing the best returns? I know Nashville is a killer market, but it's tough to make numbers work, dude. I've looked in that market.
Yeah, Nashville's tough. One of the things some people look at it as a negative, some look at it as a positive. The regulation with the permitting process there. I kind of look at it as a positive because then everyone and their mother's not going to be doing short-term rentals. And now zoning's come down. There's only certain buildings, certain areas you can short-term rental. Nashville's been good overall. In regards to ROIs, I would say from a market standpoint, I have a soft spot for the Smokies. I just always hold a place in my heart. Done well there, especially with the fix and flips. The short-term rentals are still doing it. There's just so much demand. I mean, that place has 18 million visitors a year. But now we're seeing, and Russia, I know you know this too, like there's a lot of supply coming on too. So now as an operator, you really need to, one, be operating at an efficient level and upping your game in regards to what you're adding to your property, how you're marketing your property, getting super competitive. Because the people that came in 2021, that just threw their house on Airbnb and were making money, those days are gone. So you really have to put the extra time, effort, and investment into these properties and make sure they work. So Smokies has been great. And then my Myrtle property, that one I found off market as well because my seller that I bought a place in Smokies, he owned one in Myrtle. And that's actually what got me into there. And he seller financed that deal. So we came in, it was like a 4-bedroom home, 2 blocks away from the beach. We were projecting like 70,000 first year. Seller financing with what we negotiated, we had I think a 3 or 5 year balloon, 5% interest only, so 10% down. So our monthly payments like $1,500. We'll probably bring in, probably brought in, well, we haven't gone through a full year yet, so I shouldn't say it, but I think we're gonna get close to 100K in gross. So the numbers are working out great there. Seller financing is such a, it's almost like a cheat code, especially if you can have the right structure that one makes sense for the seller and one it makes sense for the buyer, and it's a win-win for everyone. It's a great way, especially if you need to force value into the property or do renovations. You have that time period where your holding costs aren't crazy. You invest it into the property and then refinance out. The seller is making interest. They're going to get their initial principal back. It really it works for everyone, at least from my experience so far.
That is freaking awesome. Wow. No, so how did you pitch them seller financing? Like, did you?
Yeah, so he really didn't understand it. So I got on a call with him and I basically walked him through step by step. And I was explaining to him, okay, I'm going to give you, 10% down. You're going to have this. You are essentially going to be the bank. It's going to be an interest only loan. This is going to be your payment every month. I don't make this payment. You can foreclose on the property. And then if we ever sell the property or refinance out, we would accrue all this interest, $1,500 per month, plus the initial principal, whatever it was, like 370, 360 something, you get that in addition. So you're making all this money on top of it. So if he's not, he didn't want to put it into another property, he's retiring, he had some health issues. So it's essentially like an annuity, right? He just has getting this check every month and it's working out for him.
That's freaking amazing. So a little bit for a little bit behind, you mentioned that you are doing things to make your property stand out. Because again, like 21, everybody you could put up a porta potty and it would get rented on Airbnb. It's just anything at that point. I mean, people are putting up tents. And I was like, come on, guys.
Yeah, it's getting crazy out there.
So what are you doing in your flips and in your current real estate portfolio to make your property stand out? Like, are you putting hot tubs? Are we talking modern decor? Are we talking about heated pools? Like, what are you guys putting in?
Yeah, for us, it's all, market dependent, but for the fix and flips, we've been focusing on the Smokies, right? So really understanding your guest avatar. And from what I've seen, you have maybe the older demo who likes the kind of traditional cabin type, everything wood all over the place. Nothing wrong with that. I have properties that look like that as well. But what we've been doing with the renovations, we've been making it look really modern. Nice plumbing fixtures, nice lighting fixtures, nice furniture. Putting whether this one that we just refinanced or in the process of refinancing has the indoor pool and nice stuff around the pool. The pictures, the marketing is a huge component as well. but people, now the buyers are getting very keen to what's out there, and they understand, what quality looks like, and what someone that's just trying to get rid of their property, that hasn't put much work into it. So we've noticed, especially with the furnishings, the renovation, the decor, just going as high end as we can within the allotted budget and understand who's going to be buying that, has gone, really well for us. So we've been going a little bit more modern in the Smokies and seeing how it panned out. We're not going like San Fran, Manhattan modern, but modern flair to what the Smokies can provide, while having that kind of traditional cabin feel like you're in the woods theme. It's been working out for us. So that's kind of the way we've been trending.
I love that. I have always thought, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, but I've always thought the broken bow cabin style, like the ultra modern, would like crush it in the Smokies.
I agree. I agree. I mean, I was talking to my realtor recently because you see a lot of these like A-frame, I don't want to say like mini cabins, but they're like 1,200 square feet. And I'm like, I don't see a lot of these on the market. So like even going something like that, at least in the Smokies, because you're just seeing a lot of the same cookie cutter, new cabins, wood everywhere. I think this would work. So, if I decide to get back into new builds, which is a big if, and I might need you guys to walk me away from that ledge, um, I think I would want to do something different because it intrigues me. And I miss like creating something from nothing in that sense with new construction. But I also understand there's a lot of variables involved with that too. So yeah, I think being different and taking chances because as you guys know, like if you do the same thing as everyone else, why do you expect you're going to make more money or get different results from everyone else? You really need to stand out. So going above and beyond, whether it's partnerships, whether it's theme, whether just being different, and you're seeing it pay off with a lot of these markets, specifically the Smokies as well.
No, I 100% agree. Like I think modern cabins is the way to go in the Smokies if I were to like buy one now or build one. I've seen a couple, but like nothing that's like I call them broken bow style. I'm sure there's like another market that has similar cabins. Broken bow style is a very pretty like I could see the cover photo of a property. I'm like, that's in Broken Bow. I don't even need to look.
And they like the Scandi feel
Yeah,
one.
yeah,
Yeah, I love those. Those are really nice.
yeah, they're really nice.
I
You're
Should
think
do
seeing people get crazy
here.
out there. What's that?
You should do some here.
There you
Northwest
go.
Arkansas.
Right? Well,
On
the
the river.
cabins in Northwest Arkansas, they're on 23 acres. So we own the five cabins there are only on like 11 or 13. So we were considering putting new cabins on the rest of the land. So
So you have several cabins in Jasper.
yeah, so we have five cabins on 23 acres. So we're talking about subdividing that out and either selling off some of the land or building on
That's so cool.
it. Yeah, yeah, it's an interesting property. I like it out there.
Cool. To kind of go back again, sorry, I'm gonna jump now because I'm intrigued by the wholesaling thing. So you said you're trying to expand your network of that. How are you going about doing that? Like,
Yeah, so now it's you reaching out either like cold calling people or finding out who the players are that are selling these hotels or these different short-term rentals. I've developed some good relationships in the Smokies that are very tied into especially off-market deals. So I want to recreate that in Greenville and in Myrtle specifically. So if the right opportunity comes across, we can jump on it. Same
how
thing
do you,
with the wholesalers.
how do you find those people? How do you find
Yeah,
those?
so what I would do if I were just going into it not knowing anyone, like the first thing now with having some sort of network and being part of these masterminds and whatnot, I would reach out to the people I know in those markets, especially investors, and saying, who do you know? Who are you using? If I didn't, I would look on LoopNet and I would look on Zillow and I'd go through all the sold properties, depending on what asset type you're trying to go into, find out the broker and just get on the phone, email, and keep annoying them until they get back to you. That's what I would do.
I love it. Ryan, if anyone wants to get in touch with you, what's the best way to connect? If they have a hotel they want to sell you, they have an off-market deal, they want to flip, like how can they get in touch with you?
Yeah, I guess Facebook or Instagram would be best. My Facebook is Ryan Paltridge. My Instagram is I think it's Ryan _ Paltridge, so easy enough. And then I gotta up my Twitter game. to get on your level, Rashmi. So I don't even know my Twitter account, but I gotta start posting before I can even give that out.
I live on Twitter. I can't tell you guys how many insanely cool connections I've made on Twitter. I actually have a meeting in like 2 weeks with this girl who's a journalist and a photographer, and she specializes in boutique hotels in the Texas Hill Country area. Like it's like all she,
Nice.
and we're just grabbing coffee. She was like, "Hey, come on over to my family's cafe. Let's just get some coffee."
I love that. See, and you're posting great tweets. Like you're providing tremendous amount of value, putting yourself out there. So you should be proud of yourself.
Thank you. It's been super fun. I
Yeah,
really
I got to get on it.
I gotta get on it too now.
let's go, guys. We'll just have our own
Go,
Twitter
Jack.
or X Club.
I was gonna say it's really X, right?
Yeah.
Ryan, thank you so much. It was so fun having you. I feel like I learned so much about you.
No, I appreciate you guys having me. I think this is my first podcast, so this was a lot of fun. Anyway, I can help or provide any value to your viewers. I'd love to help out in whatever way I can. This is a lot of fun.
Awesome.
Thank
Thank you.
Appreciate it, guys.